Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK back at you with another video here. Back on the 9-game NBA main slate here on Monday. A couple things before I get into the video. We're now over 2.2 thousand subscribers now. Thank you guys all so much for all support. I really do appreciate it. Also, if you're new to the channel, I'm doing a weekly giveaway where all you have to do is leave a like and a comment in the video. It's one entry in the giveaway. Max one comment though per video. It will start with my Monday Night Showdown video that I uploaded at the beginning of the week. We'll go throughout the week and we'll actually end my Monday Night Showdown video that I'll upload right after this. So how it works is however many videos I've uploaded for the week, you enter the giveaway that many times. So say if I have 10 videos uploaded for the week, you enter the giveaway 10 times, and the winner receives a $20 PayPal for myself. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's jump in the video. So first, let's look back to see how we're doing here for Sunday. So Sunday's little 4-game slate. You guys knew I really wanted to stack that Pelicans-Warriors game. I think I made a mistake here with getting Alec Burks in there instead of Kai Bowman, saving some money. I knew Kai Bowman was coming off the bench. I was just worried about the minutes. Like I knew if Kai Bowman was starting, he was going to play like low to mid 30s minutes for sure. Coming off the bench, there could have been a situation where he played like 15 or so minutes. So that was my concern. So I ended up paying a little bit more for Burks, who kind of busted. Bowman was the way to go. And I think that's going to come back to bite me. Yeah, basically I stacked the game with Vucevic and Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon was a bit disappointing. Vucevic was amazing. And then ran it back with Anthony Davis as well. Other guys in my lineup were Jackson Hayes, NAW, Draymond, Drew Holiday, Burks. So it's probably going to be an L tonight, but yeah, it is what it is. So let's see if we can move on and get back in the winning track here for Monday's slate. So we got a nice 9-game slate. We only got 4 games out right now for the over-unders and the spreads, but we got Hornets Raptors is sitting at 216.5 with the Raptors favored by 9. Bucks Bulls at 230.5 with the Bucks favored by 7. Trailblazers Rockets at 231.5 with the Rockets favored by 6.5, and then Spurs Mavs at 226 with the Mavs favored by 4.5 points. So as always, we will start with center, guys. And at 10.2K is Cat here against the Jazz. We have Wiggins, I believe, is currently listed as doubtful. Let me confirm that. Where's Wiggins? Doubtful for Monday's game. So there's gonna be no Wiggins once again. Obviously, that's a lot of usage around. Guys like Teague and Covington get a boost. Also Towns. This is a tougher matchup, but again, there is a lot of usage around with no Wiggins. So I think Cat's viable. Am I going to play him on the slate? Probably not, but I don't think he's out of play. Siakam, him and Fred VanVleet, the prices are still not going up on them, I believe, enough. I mean, 9K, I think he's still a little bit underpriced. He did have kind of an off game there against Dallas, but the thing with him and Fred VanVleet are, they're going to play 40 minutes every single night, and this is a great match against the Hornets. There is some blowout risk, but if the Hornets keep this close, I think Fred VanVleet or Siakam or both could have a huge game. So, yeah, I mean, that's the security with these guys is just they're going to play huge minutes no matter what. It's a great spot. So, Siakam, then I'll talk about Fred VanVleet in a bit. Both those guys, I think, are definitely playable here. Gobert has really started to turn on here lately. 3 straight games of basically almost 50 fantasy points. The concern with him is he's just not like an offensive center, right? Like, he's not going to shoot the ball 20 times. He'll get it like early on in the season. He's shooting like 3 or 4 times a game, right? But last few games now, 11, 10, and 12 shot attempts. So again, that's a concern. He's not like a post-up center that's going to go get you a bunch of points, but he's a guy that will get you peripherals, blocks, and steals. He'll get a lot of offensive rebounds. So I think he's very, very viable here. Cat, not a good defender at all. So it is a good spot for Gobert. They're going to probably need him to guard Karl-Anthony Towns as much as they can. So he's very viable at 8.2K. And right now, for his level of production last 3 games, he's a little bit underpriced. Kevin Love at 7.8K. This Knicks Cavs game is a little bit interesting. I think a couple guys could have a pretty solid game here. It's just the minutes have kind of been spread out recently for these guys. Now, this game did blow out against Philly, so I wouldn't take too much or take that into consideration. Normally in close games, like Kevin Love's going to play probably mid-30s minutes. And, yeah, I think he's 7.8K. I think he's also a bit underpriced, so he's definitely in play. CAPELA at 7.7K. He missed the last few games with an injury. Now looks like he's going to be good to go. Before he left with that injury, he was playing huge minutes, like 36, 42, 36, 32 minutes a night. If he's going to continue to play those type of minutes, you got to consider him here at 7.7K in an up-tempo game. I definitely want some pieces to this Portland-Houston game. Now, Porzingis, the price is slowly creeping up, but I still don't think it's enough. He's at 6,900, and I really liked him there against the Knicks. In a tougher match against Toronto, he put up 45 fantasy points. Now, this, again, not necessarily the best matchup against the Spurs, but I still think he's a bit underpriced. So, Porzingis, definitely someone I'm considering here in the mid-range. Sabonis, so this is pretty big news. There's a lot of guys in the Pacers that are currently listed as questionable. If Sabonis is good to go, he'd probably be one of my favorite plays of the day going up to the Nets. In games that stay close, he plays like mid-30s minutes. Even, sometimes even pushes closer to 40 minutes. So this is a really good spot. Again, if, this will be something about to monitor. If he's good to go and fully healthy, I think he is in a smash spot here. So I'd really like him if he does play. Aldridge at 7.3K. I had a big game in that revenge game against Portland. He's been a bit up and down, and the price is slowly creeping up now. Like I liked him when he's in like low sixes, low to mid sixes. Now it's 7.3K. Probably not going to be the way that I go. Whiteside is viable here at 6.7K. The thing I like is the minutes this season. Now, he's had a couple games where, like, that game against the Kings, he played 21 minutes. He might have gotten foul trouble. I don't really remember. But he's been pushing some games like mid-30s minutes. Like the game against the Spurs, he played 35 minutes. So at 6.7K, he's very, very much in play. This is going to be an up-tempo game. So I think Whiteside could smash in the spot. It's just whether or not, if he gets like the mid-30s minutes, like he'd absolutely crush. If he gets like 25 or so, I think he's okay. So a bit on the riskier side because the minutes have been a little bit up and down, but if he hits that higher end, I think he's a very good play. Julius Randle at 6.6K. So finally had a game where they kind of limited his minutes to only 26 minutes. Now, I think that was partly due to Mitchell Robinson and Bobby Portis playing pretty good off the bench. But normally, Randle will play like low to mid-30s minutes. Again, Cleveland kind of runs big, so this is a pretty solid spot for Randle, and I kind of like the price there. So definitely considering him. Again, the only downside is he's got David Fizdale as his coach. Let's see. Montrezl Harrell at 6.2K. I think he's okay, but with like Paul George back, with Lou Williams there, possibly Kawhi back, there's a lot of mouths to feed, so we'll see. I think I would only consider him if Kawhi misses. Miles Turner's in a really good spot as well here at 6.1K going up against the Nets. We want to target players against the Nets, and he's just way too underpriced, especially if Sabonis misses. I think he'd probably be my favorite play of the day here. Now, I think it's very viable if Sabonis does play to play both bigs here, to play both Turner and Sabonis. I think both are underpriced. Both in a close game will play like mid-30s minutes, and a lot of the guards are out or even questionable for the Pacers. So, yeah, I do like both bigs for the Pacers a good amount here. Wendell Carter Jr. at 6K. The minutes that have been, going up on him a bit. He played 37 the last game against the Nets. Before that, against the Bucks, though, only 21. I think he fouled out. So, if he stays out of foul trouble, I think he could definitely get you there at that 6K price tag. DeAndre Jordan, probably not for me. I think I would prefer Jarrett Allen for a bit cheaper. Now, Tristan Thompson's also interesting here at 5.6K. So, again, that game blew out against Philly, only played 28 minutes. But in close games, he's going to play low to mid-30s minutes. And we know, the Knicks run big, right? They got Randle, they got Taj Gibson, they got Mitchell Robinson, they got Bobby Portis. So they usually have two bigs out on the court at all times. So that's why I think Tristan Thompson is very, very viable here. Also, Larry Nance listed as questionable if he can't go. Maybe there's a few more minutes for Tristan Thompson to Kevin Love. And the price tag at 5.6K, I think he's a bit underpriced. So I do like Tristan Thompson, also a good amount here. Other options, let's see. You could look at an Aaron Baines revenge game. He's been a bit up and down. If he plays like closer to 30 minutes, I think he's very viable. But again, the minutes have been a bit up and down on him. And Frank Kaminsky is playing well at the bench behind him. So that is a concern. Again, Kaminsky's had back-to-back pretty solid games here. Played 30 minutes in the last one. So I think both those guys are okay, but no one really sticks off the page to me as far as those Phoenix bigs. Chandler with with CAPELA back, I can't do it. Enes Kanter is interesting at 4K. The minutes have been a bit up and down on him, right? 25, 15, 19. If he plays like low 20s minutes, I think he could very, very, much get you there at 4K. So I think he's a playable cheap option. Again, the minutes have been a bit up and down though. BOUCHER, the minutes have been down on him the last few games. I just don't think I can do it. Like, he was originally playing that Ibaka role of like the low to mid 20s minutes, but back-to-back games of 14 and 12. I mean, yeah, I just can't do it right now. Gogo would be a guy I would consider if Sabonis misses. Did only play 12 minutes in the last game against the Bucks, so that is a concern. I think he's playable, but would like him more if he was in the starting lineup. I think that's basically it, though, for center. So let's move on to power forward. Giannis at the top. Again, there's not a whole lot to say here. It's just whether or not you think Chicago can keep this close. If you think Chicago can keep it close, I think Giannis could crush that salary, 11.3K. He's just been unbelievable this season. The only really downside, or the only downside to him really is just blowouts, because Milwaukee's been really good, and sometimes teams can't keep it close, so Giannis doesn't play a full complement of minutes. But if he plays like mid-30s minutes, again, he can crush. So it's whether or not you think the Bulls can keep it close. Kawhi currently listed as questionable. If he can't go, you could look to a guy like Paul George, who's been unbelievable in his first couple of games, in limited minutes too. 24 and 20 minutes, he's put up 49 and 54 fantasy points. Now, I don't think we can expect this level of production to continue, but it is a revenge game too against OKC. Kawhi misses. I think he probably plays 30 or so minutes in a close game, so he's very, very viable here. At a discounted price at 8.1K. The Boston guys in a slightly tougher match here against Phoenix. I'm not super high on a lot of these guys. I think they're priced about right. Let's see. Other options. Gallinari at 6.5K always seems pretty safe. I think there's a bit of upside in this price tag, but not my favorite play. Marcus Morris, kind of the same thing. He's a bit up and down, really. We know he's going to shoot the ball a decent amount when he's out there, and he does have upside. So he's more of a guy that I think I would look to for GPP only. Other options, Markkanen, I don't mind that price tag here at 5.9K. He really hasn't flashed the upside since that first game of the season where he put up like 60 fantasy points. So, yeah, I think he's okay. I think he's more of like a cash game play. He really hasn't flashed the huge upside. TJ Warren would be a guy to consider if all those Pacers guys miss. So there's Brogdon and Jeremy Lamb currently listed as questionable. If they both miss as well, Sabonis, that's just so much usage to ground. So he would be someone I would consider. The downside with him is, again, he's very scoring dependent. So, but it is a really good spot. And if all those guys miss, I think I would consider TJ Warren for sure there at 5.7. Now Covington, him and Teague have been guys who have been playing with Wiggins out. They're playing, consistent minutes, 27 33 in back-to-back games for Covington. It's a tougher matchup, but I think he's someone I would consider if Wiggins does miss that game. Let's see. Other options. Miles Bridges at 4.3. Oh, he did only play 15 minutes in the last game. 0 of 8. Normally he had been playing big minutes. So, the price tag is somewhat tempting, but man, only played 15 minutes. That is, it is a bit worrisome for sure. I think that's basically it, though. So let's move on to small forward. We're going to talk about a lot of these guys at the top again. Wiggins, if he misses, it's Cat, and then Covington and Teague would be the main beneficiaries. DeRozan just seems okay at 7.1K, not super excited about him. Lamb, if him or Malcolm Brogdon miss, we could look to guys like Aaron Holiday and Justin Holiday. So again, this will be something we have to monitor. It is a really good spot. So this is kind of the key to the slate right now, what to do with these Pacers guys. If a lot of those guys miss and there's some value, right, with the Holiday brothers, we look to Goga, Miles Turner, obviously. If one of those guys play, I'd obviously like them. So again, this will be something we have to monitor. Not super high on a lot of these cheaper guys, small forwards at least. Garrett Temple has started, hasn't played huge minutes. I guess he's playable at 4.4. If Kyrie misses again, there would be more usage to go around. So Justin Holiday on him and Aaron Holiday would be guys I would definitely consider if Lamb and Brogdon miss, just because it's a really good spot. The downside is Holiday again. Justin Holiday at least, kind of a lower usage guy. Now, Terrence Mann did have a big game. Also, actually put up a triple-double in that game against the Hawks. It did blow out, so he got a little bit extra run. I wouldn't chase this game, and especially if Kawhi Leonard plays, I wouldn't even consider him. I think he would be someone I guess I would consider if Kawhi misses, but again, I definitely would not chase that big game that he had last time out. So the secondary Milwaukee pieces like DiVincenzo, Connaughton, George Hill, I think they're okay. I think one or two of those guys might have a pretty solid game, but they have a really deep rotation. They got like Kyle Korver. They have a lot of guys that can use, so that's why no one really like sticks off the page. I think DiVincenzo again viable, but not going to play huge minutes. Again, Sterling Brown, another one of those guys that they can use. I think that's basically it for small forwards. I'm going to shooting guard, Harden at the top at 12K. Again, if you got the salary, you can definitely play him. He's got huge upsides. It's a great spot here against Portland. There should be a lot of points scored in this one, so very, very viable. The downside is, again, Westbrook is back, so that's a slight hit to Harden, but Westbrook's been really bad of late, so again, if you got the salary, he's got huge upside. Doncic is a bit underpriced. It is a tougher matchup, but he's just filling out the stat sheet. He's playing huge minutes. There's not a whole lot of bad things to say about Luka Doncic. So, yeah, if you feel strongly about him, you can definitely go there. I think he goes a bit lower owned because of the matchup, but he's just been amazing this year, and I think he's matchup proof. And at a discounted price tag, he's very, very viable. Booker at 8K, again, more of a guy that's suited only for GPPs for me. Donovan Mitchell, I do like the price on him at 7.9K. It's a good spot here against Minnesota. So he's definitely someone I would consider from the Jazz. Fred VanVleet, so again, him and Siakam are just playing 40 minutes every single night. It's a great spot, so I like both these guys a decent amount here. The concern is some blowout risk since it's at home. Can Charlotte keep it close? If they can, I think Fred VanVleet, Siakam, or even both could have pretty big games. CJ McCollum, so now I think he's priced about right here at 7.3. I still think there's a little bit of upside on his price, but him and Lillard now are closely priced, where I think I would slightly lean towards Lillard. I think the upside's a bit higher in him. He's a bit more consistent. CJ, a bit more up and down, but he does have that 50 fantasy point upside in him, so he's playable. I think I would look there as part of a game stack for Portland and Houston. Levine at a discounted price here at 6.9K. Currently listed as probable, so I think he's going to be good to go. He had a sprained ankle. We know he's going to shoot the ball a ton. If Chicago's going to keep this close, he's going to have a pretty big game. So definitely someone I'm considering at a discounted price here. Brogdon, so again, him and Lamb, if they both miss, we could look to the Holiday brothers as value plays. Even T.J. McConnell's going to list questionable. If T.J. McConnell can play it and both Brogdon and Lamb miss, then we could look to T.J. McConnell. So there's a lot of scenarios that can happen here for the Pacers. SGA in a revenge game, him and Chris Paul both seem a bit underpriced. Both revenge games for both of them. So he's definitely viable in the mid-range, someone I'm considering. Dinwiddie would be someone I think would be really popular if Kyrie misses. He played 30 minutes at last game at Chicago, put up 35 fantasy points. We know the upside's there on him, so definitely would like him a decent amount if Kyrie does miss. Again, Aaron Holiday, him, Justin Holiday, would probably be asked to play big minutes if both Brogdon and Jeremy Lamb do miss. The Houston guys like Rivers with Westbrook back is not for me. They're priced up too. Let's see what else. I think that's kind of it. George Hill, again, like these secondary pieces, they have a lot of different guys they can use. That's why I don't think anyone really sticks out the page as a great play, but if you want to play like one of those guys, they're definitely viable with no Chris Middleton. I think that's it for shooting guards. So let's go on to point guard. Lillard at 8.6K. Again, I think him and CJ now are closely priced, where I'm just going to lean towards paying a little bit more for Lillard. I think the upside's a bit higher on him. He's a bit more consistent. So it's a great spot here against Houston, too. There's going to be a lot of points scored in this one. So I do like Lillard a good amount there at 8.6K. KYRIE, this is pretty big news. Again, he's listed as questionable. If he misses, we could look to a guy like Spencer Dinwiddie. If he plays, I think he's very viable here at 8.5K. So again, that will be something we have to monitor going into tomorrow. Now Westbrook's at a price at 8.3K. I know he's been really bad of late, but I'm just banking on the talent and him having a bounce back game soon. Like, we know what Russell Westbrook can do. He's in a bad stretch, but I like buying low on guys, right? Like, this is the lowest price we'll ever get at Westbrook, in my opinion, at 8.3K. So at the beginning of the season, I mean, he was putting up over 50 fantasy points every single night, and he's been in a bad stretch here. He's been getting in foul trouble a lot too, like almost every single game. So if he can stay out of foul trouble, it's a good spot here. Not really afraid of Lillard or CJ defense, and I like the price on him a good amount. So Westbrook, really do like him. I'm going to buy low. I'm not really scared of the recent performance just because I'm banking on the talent here. Bledsoe's just a guy that's been really, really good of late. And with no Chris Middleton, there's just a lot of minutes to go around. I mean, he was a guy that was playing like, I mean, low to mid 20s minutes basically, and now they're going up to like almost 30 minutes a night. So this game did blow out. That's why I only played 26 minutes. But yeah, I think he's playing probably like 30 minutes a night. It's a good spot here, and he's been really, really good. And at 7.2K right now for his level of production, he's a bit underpriced. So definitely viable here for Bledsoe. He's had a great stretch of games. Chris Paul, again, him and SGA, revenge game narrative, both are a bit underpriced. Yeah, I do like both those guys a decent amount. I think you could play both together too, honestly. SGA and Chris Paul, I think you really could play them both together if you wanted to. But like I said, both are a bit underpriced. I do like them in the mid-range if you're kind of building a more balanced approach. Terry Rozier at 6.3K. We just know in close games he's going to play mid-30s minutes, so he's very viable here. Again, you could... There's different ways you can go on the slate. You can build a more stars and scrubs approach, or you could go in the mid-range. I think both builds are very, very viable. Jeff Teague. So like him and Covington would be the main beneficiaries if Wiggins does miss. Again, Wiggins is doubtful, so it looks like he is going to miss. It's a tough spot, but I think the price tag and the minutes are very viable here for those guys. Schroeder off the bench is more of just a GPP play, really. The next point guard situation, I just can't trust it with Fizdale. I know Dennis Smith Jr. So Dennis Smith Jr. had that big game against Dallas in 30 minutes, and then the next game he played 10 minutes. You can't trust it right now. But yeah, I think that's about it. So, again, I think there's a lot of different ways you can go in the slate. It's going to be an interesting one. There's the stars and scrubs approach, or you can go in the mid-tier. There's a lot of solid mid-tier plays. And we got a lot of injury news we're waiting on, too. So that's why it's very important to follow me on Twitter, guys. That will be in the description below, as well as check out my live stream. I'll be live streaming probably 45 minutes before lock on my YouTube channel. So be sure to check it out. But like I said, I think that's going to do it for today's video. So if you have been enjoying the content, would really appreciate it if you could like this video and subscribe. Again, if you want to get entered in the giveaway, all you do is leave a like and a comment in the video. So we're entering the giveaway. I will be back for another video to break down the NBA main slate on Tuesday. I'll probably have my showdown video for Monday night. I'll probably have that up tomorrow. Just falling asleep here, so I really need to go to bed. But yeah, thanks again for coming and checking out the video, guys. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys later.